All right, what's up, dudes? So more specifically, going to be targeted towards those individuals coming from my ebook, but thought it would provide some value for those of you guys just watching. So, ebook dudes. Obviously, we're in the chapter of arm action mechanics, talking late launch and shoulder extension. I wanted to do an updated screening because as I was looking back and including context within the book, excuse me, there wasn't a whole lot of screenings of late launch. All the screenings I really had was more of a breakdown of early launch and limited shoulder extension. So what better way to showcase this than having Corbin Burns here on the left and look at late launch. When we look at shoulder extension, these are guys who are maximizing their extension and getting as close to their target at ball release as possible, right? We want extension because obviously it helps aid in the acceleration and deceleration pattern of the arm action mechanics. But when we look at it simply too, like the extension is deception. We look at, is it going to be easier for you to control all of your pitches when you're releasing it closer to home plate or further away? So when we look at breakdowns, I've said this in the ebook. When we look at breakdowns of early launch and limited shoulder extension, you'll see guys having a tough time to repeat the slot and just having a long way to go for that ball to be in the air. Right now, obviously, we're speaking with the minimal amount of difference, but if you're watching this, you probably already understand that when we're looking at the pitching mechanics, when we're looking at throwing a baseball in general, how much all of these little things matter, right? So the reason why I say this is significant looking at these two because of command, right? So Corbin Burns just set the record for most strikeouts without a walk, and then Gerrit Cole broke that record, I think, 3 days later. So guys that obviously have a really good feel for their pitches, really good feel for their strike zone. So let's just showcase what this late launch shoulder extension looks like, okay? So Gerrit Cole's in slow motion, so I can't sync him up at ball release. But we're not going to touch on anything else other than the late launch aspect. Well, maybe we will. Just positioning accordingly with that upper body to receive that energy. And now you're going to notice the correlation of when the trunk actually initiates the rotation, what the positioning is of the hand and the arm action and the glove side as this occurs. And then instead of just kind of rotating and spinning off, we're getting rotational and directional, right? So there's multiple energy systems being utilized during this throw, which you can see as he anchors down. And now he's rotating, and in deflection of his trunk is going to allow him to, like I said earlier, maximize acceleration of the arm, layback of the arm, more energy to utilize up the chain, and then at ball release, this is a good picture from the back here of throwing shoulder well in front of glove side shoulder. So the breakdown would be the early launch component when the shoulders are essentially in line and you're not getting that rotation, right? So we want that rotation, we want that extension, and even to take a deeper dive into this concept and why it's so crucial, because not only is it going to make your fastball play better, not only is it going to be more deceptive or deceiving to the hitters, but it's also going to make your breaking balls better, right? We look at late bite. So another component there as well. So then we look at Gerrit Cole on the right. That's a beautiful video. Oh, yeah. Can we move this? Let's see this. Here we go. Yes, we can. Barely. All right, so positioned. Oh, no. Sally sold seashells at the seashore. We missed it. Let me see if we can alter this. Change. Here we go. Game's about adjustments, boys. The game is about adjustments. Okay, and we're back. All right, so again, positioning, the posture of the two is same. Like, again, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but the positioning is going to lead into efficient positioning is going to lead into even more efficient positioning. Let's just put it that way. All right, so same thing with Cole. Trunk has yet to initiate rotation until touchdown, segmentation, and now coming into ball release, he's using that rotational energy, that rubber band analogy I use with segmentation, and he's not cutting himself off. He's creating freedom and throwing shoulder in front of glove side shoulder, late launch shoulder extension. Just beautiful. And then, like I said earlier with Burns, is that's going to help aid into, not only the acceleration aspect of the arm and not only the freedom of the arm, but the deceleration pattern as well. Okay, so we want to own that rotation aspect of it. You can see him finishing here. Okay, so you start neutral, you end owning rotation. All right. So that is going to be my breakdown mechanical screening on late launch shoulder extension and how crucial that is towards all of the things that I mentioned, right? We see breakdowns of early launch. I say it more oftentimes than not. Probably 90% of the time, it is a breakdown of something that's occurred earlier in the delivery, whether it be a limited amount of forward momentum, a limited amount of acceleration, a lack of stability due to the brain's potential monitoring of threat, saying they don't have the stability to accelerate to a certain aspect, so then they limit the acceleration aspect, and then they kind of get into a position in which they're just not accelerating forward, so therefore they can't grasp rotation and extension. And also I talk about how it could be like a movement restriction too. Thoracic spine restriction, that's not often the case, but who knows? Could be something there. Okay, guys, that was Corbin Burns, Gerrit Cole. Gerrit Cole is the new setter of most strikeouts without a walk record after Corbin Burns did it to start the season. Lasted all but 3 days. Dudes are good, but it's no accident why we see these things, man. Why we see these things happen in today's, they're just so efficient with their movements, All right.